Hi, it's Steve from PartSelect. Today we're going to show you how to change the recess crank on the dispenser door on your refrigerator. It's a really easy job. All you need is a putty knife, a Phillips screwdriver, and a pair of needle nose pliers. Let me show you how we do it. Now, because we'll be working near some electrical circuits on this repair, the first thing we'll need to do is disconnect the power to the refrigerator. Simply pull the plug. Now, our first step will be to remove the escutcheon around the dispenser. So we'll start with a putty knife. And being very careful that we don't mar the paint, we'll just lift up a little bit on one edge, enough to slide that blade in underneath the end, and depress the locking tab. And there are 4 tabs on each side. They're equally spaced down both sides. So we'll come up until we find the next one, and gently depress that. And that will give us a little bit of leverage to release the ones on the opposite side. We can set the escutcheon aside. Next, we're going to remove the control assembly. Now, it's held in place with a couple of locking tabs on the bottom. So if we lift up gently on it and pull forward on the bottom, we can disengage those 2 locking tabs and drop it down, and that'll give us access to the harness connectors on the back that we need to disconnect. So lift the locking tabs on those, pull the harnesses loose. We can set the control board aside. Next, with our Phillips screwdriver, we'll remove 3 Phillips head screws that hold that assembly in place. And just pull that forward. Remove the 2 harnesses that are attached to the refrigerator. We can set that aside and gain access for our repair. Now that we have the dispenser assembly out of the way, before we proceed any further, it's probably a good time to clean up this area, because there's bound to be a little bit of hard water filming and possibly some mold or mildew in this area. So we'll clean that up, just a little spray cleaner. Now that we have the area cleaned up, we're ready to remove that lever assembly. So we'll loosen the 1 screw on the left, and we're going to completely remove the one on the right, as well as the little metal retaining bracket. The little metal bracket has a slotted hole in it that fits over a plastic tab on there, so when we reinstall that, we need to make sure that that sits over it firmly. Now we'll rotate the flapper to the open position. We'll unhook the right-hand side from the solenoid, and then we'll gently pull it to the right. Make sure we keep the spring intact, and we can set that on a suitable work surface so that we can remove the flapper and install it on the new lever. Now that we have the crank assembly and flapper on a suitable work surface, we can first of all remove the spring from the end of the shaft. And that crank lever is held to the flapper by a couple of locking tabs, one on either side, and then a set of hinged tabs on the bottom. So we need to very carefully lift that crank assembly out of those 2 locking tabs. Gently just spread one of them with a little bit of upward pressure until you disengage one, and go to the opposite side and pivot it back and unhook it from the hinge tabs on the bottom. You can discard the old piece. We'll install the new one in the reverse manner. We'll hook it onto the hinged tabs first, line it up between the 2 locking tabs, and then gently snap it into place. We'll reinstall the spring. The hooked end of the spring goes on first. Slide it on the shaft and make sure the hook engages the hole in the crank lever, and we're ready to reinstall it in the refrigerator. Now we're ready to reinstall the lever assembly. Make sure the hook on the spring is engaged in the hole on the lever, and the straight arm portion is pointing upwards. And slide the pin in underneath the metal retaining strap. The hook end needs to engage the plunger on that solenoid. Make sure the whole bracket is centered. Now we'll take that retaining strap, the hook end down, and there's a slotted hole in that needs to fit over a plastic tab. So we'll make sure that that's lined up properly before we tighten it. Tighten the other screw. Check the operation, make sure the spring's closed. And we're ready to reinstall the rest of the assembly. Now we're ready to reinstall the dispenser assembly. So we'll lift the two harnesses out of the way, slide the assembly into place. And we'll replace the Phillips screws that secure it. Next, we'll reconnect the wire harnesses to the control board, slide them in underneath the locking tabs, make sure they lock firmly in place. Then we'll engage this top tab on the controls along this rail here. Tuck it up into place and press in on the bottom until both the locking tabs engage. And we're ready to put the escutcheon back on. So we'll line up the 4 locking tabs on either side. Snap them into place. Next, we'll reconnect the power and our repair is complete. Told you it was an easy job. Thanks for watching and good luck with your repair.